Now greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to lift the curtain. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. For today, we'll be drawing a little bit more Potioncraft. I'm sure you have awaited this occasion once more each coming week, you know? And today, we'll be covering not the water element, but, as soon as I change this, the magnificent life element. For the game Potioncraft. As I have mentioned many episodes before, we are drawing these ingredient suggestions for the game Potioncraft. A wonderful little game with a medieval aesthetic, you know, with these crappy looking humans and such. It is very lovely indeed. I personally have played quite a lot of it, yet sadly never have gotten to the Philosopher's Stone, the end goal. But I personally really enjoy the ingredients and the creativity that had gotten into them. And as such, I would like to contribute this little suggestion for the possible inclusion of new and fun ingredients. So, what are we drawing today? Today we shall be drawing 3 different ingredients, starting with the Spriggan sap. Many might have seen this from the game Skyrim already, and I thought this might be a neat little reference, you might say. The Spriggan sap will most likely be a green amber fluid or something, I don't know. It will be syrupy and held within within a bottle that is made out of wood. Most likely very natural looking, nice little bumps and such, you know, from these trees. I think that is where the wood comes from anyways. So, next on we'll have the troll warts. Trolls are usually very, very known for their extraordinary regenerative capabilities, and as such make very good regenerative potion ingredients, especially if you know how to extract these abilities. Next on, we have the Hydra Eyes, notorious for the multitude of heads that can grow out of one single stump. Farming these is actually quite easy if you know where to find them and are extraordinarily cruel to this creature that honestly does not want to do this. I mean, yes, they're murderous beasts, but having your eyes harvested after having your head cut off is a little bit extreme, you know? So, anyways, let's get on started. So, firstly, we'll create another layer. The bottom one will become the root for our coloring layer, while the above will serve as our line art layer. First, we shall select the right color for our drawing, and let's see, where is the brush? There it is, the textured pen brush, to get the nice little medieval feeling, you know? So, yes, we're above the time. That is wonderful to see. Now, let's go. Dear gods, there we are. Isn't that magnificent? So, oh, I might also pull up the references for you. Here you go. These are um, ingredients that already exist in Potioncraft and always offer a nice little bit of inspiration once in a while. They are also categorized with the different elements, with the new element system they implemented lately in Potioncraft. And yes, this should help you nicely to understand what I'm doing here. So, now then, what do we have? We do have this Spriggan bottle. This will mean no symmetry, most likely. A few little swirls. That is a little bit much swirl. Yeah, this should work way better. Yes. Have many of you actually played Skyrim? It was one of my favorite games when I was growing up. I didn't have many games, and therefore I played it quite extensively. This looks more like a heart, to be quite honest, but who knows? This shouldn't be that bad. So let's see with this. Maybe we could make a few neat roots here that could look rather nice. This would be a bottle that is very inconvenient to put anywhere when you don't have a dedicated holster for it. We might come back to this later on, but for now I think this suffices in terms of design. So I might want to delete this one too. Yes, this works way better. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. We can still work on this afterward. So I can get a little bit better of a root going. So with a little swirl at the beginning, and then we can start the overall shapes we want to include. So then get this deeper. Put the cork up there. Or maybe we can do something better than a cork. Maybe a mushroom, perhaps? It can still work if we try hard enough. Yes, this could work. This could work. It is not guaranteed to, but it might. So, and later on we might add these kinds of details to all the others as well. But first we should get the overall shape correct before we start any of this. Otherwise we might want to bite ourselves later on. So then we have that. Maybe put the center of mass, or the most mass, down there this time. It will be a very, very organic looking bottle. So let's see. How can we do this? That is certainly difficult. But let's soldier on. So let's see. I can do something like that. Have it come out here. Having it on the side is actually rather nice. So it could be very weird for the user to actually use. We might want to think of something better in this case. Let's see how this pans us out. Nice little Helsing Ultimate reference here. And they say we Germans don't have any sense of humor. So let's see. I'll keep this for now. I'm not sure how I'm liking this. Yet I'm liking the line thickness variation here. This is rather neat. Though not really Potioncrafty when you consider it. So I might have to revert that little change. So let's see. Trying to go with the flow of the wood there to get a nice little feeling of motion here, and it looks like garbage. But if it wouldn't look shit in the first place, we couldn't improve it. I mean, we wouldn't need to improve it, but still, it takes away the joy of trying to get something to work correctly. This looks at least interesting, I can give it that. So there we go. And we can put this up there. Again, with a few little nice details. Oh yes. This is on the wrong layer, but who cares? I can just split these when I'm done. This could spare me quite a bit of unnecessary micromanagement. So I can switch between them on a moment's notice without having to worry on which layer I'm currently drawing. So let's see. Ah yes, this is magnificent. So there we go. Yes, yes, I like this very much. That is too dense in detail right here. I'll have to cut that back a little. Yes, this looks better. Trying to have the roots again, just a little bit. Yes, yes, these should do nicely. Once I'm done with them, of course. Maybe I can even put one of these wood mushrooms on the bottle here to have it have a little bit more of an identity, you might say. A little bit of visual flair to keep it interesting. Yes, this looks way better. I'll have that a little bit more chunky once again. A little bit more detail. There we go. Doing a little bit of this and that. Yes. I'm very much liking this. Although I have to work on the details on this one. They don't flash me yet. So, and I think for now I'll keep streaming as a little practice on the side. It will most likely not become a main source of income and or entertainment for now, but I'm enjoying this quite a bit. Not all too much, but it's not bad. So, and it's most likely just something I have to learn myself into, like entertaining an audience when I have one, and all in all, just trying to do my best when it comes to, as I said, entertain people. Keep them laughing, keep them engaged, which is not exactly my strong suit, as you might imagine. So let's see. So trying to keep this here. Yes. This should do very nicely. Just trying not to overdo it. Maybe that will have, this one will have the least detail in contrast to the others. Oh, maybe it will be about the same. Who knows? But it certainly does look okay, which I'm very, very happy. Yes. Maybe make it a little bit more here. You see, the most difficult ones are most likely behind us. There are a few things I still fret in terms of design for the other elements, but all in all, I'm fairly optimistic with getting this done. And after this, I have no real clue on what I'll do. Maybe I'll stop streaming for a little while, but I'll most likely come back to this sooner or later. So yes, these should do fairly nicely. Maybe I'll add leaves to some of them. That could be rather nice. Yes, it's a life element after all. Without leaves, it wouldn't be complete. Yes, these do very, very nicely. Wonderful. Having the cap here is also not bad. I actually very much enjoy it. So, now then, we'll take a quick look-see. Make this a little bit smaller to be more manageable. And cut these up. This one on one layer, this one on the other, trying to keep it all in one piece. Without sailing the seas, of course. And going on to making a coloring layer, or folder in this case, to keep the workflow less destructive and more manageable. So, we'll make one layer for each folder we try to create, and then make folders out of each and every single one of them. I also recommend saving quite often, otherwise you might run into problems when the program crashes or something. Thankfully, I did not have this happen to me, thanks to my wonderful and awesome new PC, yet I would not try to, let's say, challenge the fates on this one. So, then let's go on to masking our wonderful little layers here. Yes, this should do nicely. Inverting the selection we made outside the line work. Shrinking the selection, maybe by 3 pixels or something, to make sure that the... Oh, dear God, I'll have to shrink that quite a bit as well. Yeah, 5 pixels should do it. So, then we shrink this, make a mask out of here, and now when we draw in this folder, we can only draw behind the line work, basically. And we'll repeat this very same process with every single layer we do. So now we do... Ah, dear gods. I forgot to invert it before I started. So shrinking it by 5 pixels, making the selection, making the mask, and carrying on to the next one. Now we shrink this one, and then we make this, and everything's dandy. Just a second, I'll grab myself some more water. Oh, dear gods. It's always so refreshing. Now then, I've returned. As you might have already noticed, I have limited the motion a little bit more on my model, you know. It was quite a lot in terms of upper body movement I had going on. Now it is way more confined to the head area, which limits the amount of people can see from my, let's say, quite stiff arms, as I still haven't figured out how to do animations in dear God, in VC Phase and the Unreal Unity engine. Dear gods, Unity. Yes, it is quite irritating to me that I'm not able to do some nice fancy animations and such, which is why I'm planning to go into live to do it in 2D anyways. And also it seems to be far easier. You can convert simple drawings into simple VTuber characters. It could be very fun. So, anyways, we'll carry right on. I might have to mask this out in the future, but who cares? For now it works. Now then, we'll be using greens and browns to make these wonderful little ingredients, but mostly greens. We'll try to keep it that way. As I recall, yes, we also have all our wonderful little filters up there on, which limits the amount of saturation one can put in. Of course, we'll have to be pretty extreme with it, but all in all, it should do nicely. Now then, let's start, oh dear God, with the first one. For this one, we might want to go... Let's try a few colors out now, shan't we? So, do this. Interesting. Try this. Yes, this goes more to the green, brownish territory. Yes, this should do nicely. Maybe a little darker. Then we can have the inner roots more of the brownish side, and the greener ones on the outer rims. This could prove rather useful, you know? So I might want to make this a little bit darker now that I'm thinking of it. Yes, this should do nicely. Make this a little bit darker again to smooth out the transitions. Maybe even just cover up most of this. Yes, it looks far better now. Now we can go on to the greens and see what these can do. Yes, this is wonderful, magnificent even. Wonderful. So then we go into a little bit of darker green to maybe mask this here. Yes. So it doesn't stand out that much. Wonderful. Now we just have to get a nice color for the cork up there. I hope this is the right word here in English. Otherwise, this might be fairly embarrassing. Magnificent. Now, I'm really happy with this one for now, so I'll keep it that way and just carry on to the next one. We still have 2 more ingredients to go after all. Now then, for the mushroom, I was thinking maybe something in this category. Something more exotic. Still somewhat reminiscent of the water category we were just visiting. So, maybe this or this. We'll take this for now. Then we go on back to the reds and oranges we were previously acquainted with and start all over again. Now, shan't we? So, just do this for now, and then we'll work our way lighter and lighter. So, magnificent. Get this on. A little bit of darker brown. Not too dark, of course, but still something. You can also try to make the form more readable with the shadows and the lights and darks we place. So, yes, let's try and do that. Trying to make a few more nice shapes in there. So, there we go. Yes, this looks fairly nice. Zooming out now and then actually helps a good bit. Keep your own artistic urges in check, let's say. Can sometimes get a bit too much when one is not prepared to curb their own over-ambition. Let's bring a little bit more green into this design. It is a little bit too much and too brown heavy for my tastes. So then maybe I'll even put a little bit of green over this one, maybe with a little blending mode right about now. Let's see. Yes, this looks far better. Maybe even, yeah, just a little bit. Put it more into the greenish side of things. And then we'll go over to this one. After all, we have still quite a bit to do, so we should hurry on. So, let's see. Now we can, again, return to the brownish values we have here. Too dark, a little bit lighter. Yes. For this one, I'm actually using the soft brush, which you might noticed me using. We'll just move on right along, trying to get the most desirable colors blocked out beforehand, and doing our best to get a little bit of a grasp on the form of everything. So, yes, this should do. Go here, make this a little bit darker. But we should also need a few highlights around here. A bit more saturated. More saturation, less light, I would say. Too dark. More red. There we go, I would say for now. Maybe we can even add a gradient of greens and blend this over the rest. This should be good to do. Maybe from the top to bottom. Yeah, maybe. Then just a second, we'll mask out the mushrooms. So, and maybe even the leaves. We'll do these separately. Maybe even now. Make it nice and bright. Maybe a little more saturation. Magnificent. We'll just look for a few nice blending modes that could work well with this. To subtly shift it, you know? It doesn't have to be too much. Very interesting. No, this is not what I'm looking for. Let's see. Yes, this should do. This should do very fine. Maybe a bit more, a bit less, who knows. Maybe we'll mask even a bit more from this to give it a little bit more visual interest. So we have this. Let's give it just a little bit. Things. Magnificent! These are already 3 done. You can even add the little fancy schmancy numbers down here. Make sure one can easily discern these and not have to refer to the left, middle, or the right one. So you can easily just say 1, 2, or 3. There we go. Isn't that magnificent? So, let's take quite a few more looks on this, or we shall move on to the next ingredient. So, next on, the troll warts. Warts will be interesting to draw now that I think about it, but we'll see, Maybe we can make them really gross looking, you know? Oops, that was a little bit too much. Yeah, starting with 1 again. These aren't really that symmetrical. So, having the lines here. Let's see what we can do. We can make some tumorous growths, you know? Because it could behave like some sort of benevolent cancer through the troll, you know? Dear God, I'm saying you know a little bit much. Where these cells are just multiplying at a rapid pace and not dying off that fast. Making them attached with blood vessels and such. This could be really grossing. Though with troll warts, I'm asking myself, would a new troll actually be grown from a wart? Or would they be alchemically kept at bay from regenerating? This would be an interesting thing to think about. They can add a few more folds for visual interest, especially since trolls are usually rather big and such. Yes, make it really gross looking. This looks like an eye. I might want to remove that. Yes. Really gross and nasty looking. Try and put this into your potion. How many people would want to drink it? That is the real question here. So, this is sufficiently gross, yet I'll try to make another attempt at this. Maybe we can have something a little more engaging and have a malformed piece of flesh or something with the warts on it. Yes, this should do nicely. So just a little bit smaller and put it there. Then we make the chunks down here where it was ripped out of the troll by our dear old friend the monster hunter, hashtag Geralt. Or slash Geralt, I don't know. And make this a little bit more tattered, a little more worn out after such a rambunctious fight. So there we go. Having it like all gross and wrinkly looking. This could be really interesting. Could be too much. Let's see. Yes, these really nasty looking troll warts. So there we go. Have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yes, a very malformed piece of flesh. We should also... What I'm worried about with these is actually that they could look very similar to the hag noses we did with their own warts, you know? This could be a problem which might occur. And I'm not sure that I very much care about this. If it were to, after all, I'm giving 3 ingredient suggestions for each element. Not every one of them has to be pure gold. So let's see. Now then, doesn't this look interesting at least? I can make it even a little bit barky too. Get it really on there. Oh dear god, so this is terrifyingly disgusting. Making the bottom bit a bit more goopy. Yes, all the goo. Now then, we'll just continue on with the next one. After all, we can come back to this if we so please. Let's do this, a little bit of that. Trying to make basically troll bacon with lots of warts on it. Yes, crispy troll bacon. So we can do this. Have it with lesions and such. Although I don't really know if I'm drawing these. I just like the word lesions. Which is, if I recall correctly, when skin loses itself from the surrounding tissue and falls off like a rejected skin graft. Still, a nice word to say, I would say. I'll have to work on that. So, Maybe you can even make an ear or something. This could be really interesting. Yes, this should do very nicely. And with just a few minor adjustments, it is already something of an ear. You don't have to perceive it as such, but it is fairly good if you were to. Now then, let's put a few really gross looking hairs on this one. Yes, this looks disgusting. Wonderfully disgusting. So let's see with this one. And with that one. We'll do our best to get this on there. As grossly as humanly possible. So let's see. Wonderful. Now that is a malformed piece of flesh if I've ever seen one. Although I personally couldn't. It is difficult to read it as an ear, I have to confess. Maybe you could put a piercing in there, that would be funny. So maybe even a couple ones. This could be rather funny. Though it would imply that the trolls have a civilization advanced enough to create piercings and doing these kinds of medical procedures, which would imply a level of intelligence that could make it morally dubious to use them in potions. Nah, who cares? We do way worse stuff out there already. So now then, for the next piece of malformed flesh, we won't be drawing a dingus, but maybe we can draw something a little bit more fleshy, who knows? Starting with a random shape. So, and then we put a few nice warts on there. Get their silhouettes and such and work from there. This should do nicely. Adding folds and such around the warts. Maybe troll warts could even be a disease that if it is inflicted upon an adventurer could actually have them get the regenerative capabilities, but every tissue that is regenerated would be of troll origin. That would be rather interesting. Just imagine a mortally wounded character getting saved by the troll blood schisms and getting a troll arm or something. And with time, it could get so destructive, let's say, that the adventurer would actually become a troll over the time. And should they incur mental wounds or something of psychic damage, in D&D terms, if I recall correctly, then they could actually lose intelligence, as the brain matter that is regenerated could not be of human but of troll origin. Otherwise, it would be a very overpowered healing component. And alchemists could actually be that skilled to extract the healing but make it actually tuned to humans and remove the troll component. This could be rather interesting and a nice little explanation as to why these aren't used more widely. As I imagine troll blood would be one of the best healing potions if that weren't the case, you know? Yes, I like the goopiness of the previous one. It was rather nice. Have it drip like liquid flesh. Wonderful. Now then, although it looks currently like two eyes with eyelashes, which is rather disturbing, I'll keep that away from here. Maybe add another wart on top of the wart, because we never can have too much warts. And there we go. It just lost a little bit of its former glory, but we can work with that. So making a little skin fold around here or something. Just the more disgusting, the better. After all, it's trolls. So then. Yes, this is sufficiently disgusting, I would say. And I don't think the coloring phase will make it any better. Maybe we can even add piercings to the others, who knows. For now we won't have to. Though it is a nice thing to include later on, you know? So let's see. Does the chat even work properly here? That is good to know. So, yes, this should be the one. Well, let's see it soon enough. Now then. Let's carry on with the drawing and get on to coloring. We'll just repeat the same process as before. You can follow along if you'd like to. And we'll just take this one, invert the selection, shrink it, and then mask it. So we'll do the same to the next one. Invert, shrink, and mask. And of course, the third one, invert, shrink, and mask. There we go. Now we get onto the coloring stage. Dear gods, this will be fairly disgusting. We have a lot of greens to work with here, especially the blue greens, most likely. So we'll see if we can make something sufficiently disgusting out of this. Oh yes, I should move to the airbrush here. A little bit too dark. We can change that. There we go, and then we work with the lighter greens to get this up here. So, a few gradients here and there. A little bit of this to get everything going. There we go. It's already coming along. In some yellows for the nice warts here. Giving them a few highlights, which one would actually not need. Should we do the flesh brownish, or should we really go into the red here? Yeah, red might actually be the better option. Yes, or we could go to something of the purplish variety. Maybe making it a way more desaturated. Maybe blue even? Who knows? It is worth a try. Make it dark. Oh yes, this looks better already. We can go into the greenish variety a little bit more. A little bit more. Yes, this should do nicely. You can even use a bit more saturation here. Complete global saturation to get this on there. Well, isn't that magnificent? I think I'll just carry on with the next one, or we could just put a little bit of a gradient onto there. So let's see. So let's put a little bit of a cut. Oh dear gods, I put it on the wrong layer, or at least the wrong layer being the same layer as I previously used. So let's see. This doesn't work. Nope. Well, it's not that much of an impact, but still, we can work with that. Now then, on to the next one. This time we'll start about here. Too dark, a bit lighter. There we go. So let's see what we can do around here. So we can do this. We can have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Have it work here as well. Get a good dark color in here. And imply a little bit more form. So maybe we even need a little bit of a lighter color around here to help get everything a little bit more workable in this regard. Just have to put this. Yes, this looks far better. Now then, we'll just have to color the piercings a little bit. Have them yellow. No, I'm not really sure. Trying to go for golden vibe, maybe? Also not really sure. Let's see, making a little bit lighter. This should do it for now, I would say. Yep. And on to the next one we go. This might actually be a very quick stream today. I might even show you a little bit of something else I've been working on, as that could be fairly interesting, I would guess. Now then, we'll go backwards this time and start with the very yellowish green as the base and work ourselves to the bluish ones later on. Yes, then we go up here and start going to these wonderful little warts we have there. Getting these gradients up and running. So we go here, we'll work further and further. And we even get something darker down here, just to mix it up a little bit. Magnificent. And we can even go back here to the yellowish greens. Put one here. One there. And then use a few blend modes to get this sorted in a way that would be nice to look at. So, what if I were to use a more bluish color to do this? Having this as a little blend mode here. I go just a little bit up to have it more of a bluish variant than the others. Maybe I can even go really into this yellow greenish thing for the flesh. Who knows? Nope. Yes, that could actually be very horribly goopy and slimy. So doing yellow overlay over here to get a little bit of a contrast going with the bluish undertones I tried to establish below. Now we go through a few blend modes to see which looks best. And yeah, this should do nicely. It looks terrifically disgusting, but I think that's what we want out of this. Now then, this is the next ingredient finished. We'll just go up here and add the numbers once more. I like it when they're hand-drawn each single time, you know? So, one. It's a little bit too big of a brush for me. This. Wonderful. Just make sure it doesn't get into the way of the drawing, of course. Now then, on to the next ingredient, I would say. Here we have the Hydra Eyes. With the Hydra Eyes, we can do just a second. The Hydra Eyes will have one of the best opportunities to draw any kind of ingredient. Eyes are fairly recognizable on a face, especially on that many faces of a Hydra. And choosing these for the life category is something like playing a card in a game. I don't want to draw an eye for every single category, so this is a unique opportunity in my case, as I like to keep it rare and not too repetitive on the different monster parts we draw and use. So we'll have the ability to come up with something rather neat and interesting. Not clipping mode, I would like a new layer. There we go. Let's go ahead and try a few things. So we may even be able to use the Ellipse Tool to get a few nice circles here. So here, there, and here. And we can work with the different shapes, I would suggest. So, just a second. I'll have to add these in different folders just to make sure they don't interfere with each other. Having two here and then a little lot here on the right. So it looks actually like a worm now that I think about it. But who cares? We'll just soldier on. Now then, let's make a few nice pupils. Having these goats kind of pupils are always rather nice, but maybe we can try something a little bit more reptilian for now. We'll also have to trace this a little bit to get the texture we want, but it is good to have a nice little set to draw upon. I might even want to put this in its own folder. Put mine above it, put this to about 10% opacity, and have this as a reference layer, you might say. And we just draw and draw and draw until we come to something close to a circle. There we go, this is close enough. The smaller the circle is, it always gets way easier. Yeah, this is fine. On to the next one. There we go. Isn't that nice? So, then here, we'll just start from the bottom this time. Not feel that shit about getting the big eyes wrong so many times. It really goes into your wrist, you could say. Ah, this now, if this isn't a nice circle, I don't know what is. So now we have this and that. I hate it when my stylus does things I do not want it to do. So, and now we can add whatever we want on a separate layer, as to not interfere with the line work we have just so painstakingly created. So here we are with an iris. Maybe just pure iris, that could be an interesting thing. Yes, this should do rather well. Yes. Just these nice little details of the sclera, I think it was. I really have to learn anatomy someday. Seriously. Not just having a large visual library to get to where one wants, but to actually have anatomical knowledge of what you're trying to draw and having certainty in where everything is located. I recently saw Artgun post something about that, and it was very inspiring. So let's see. Yes, this looks better. Just have different perspectives on the eyes. So there we go. This is not too bad. Maybe we can even add some flisms behind there to make it extra disgusting, as are all monster ingredients, or at least most of them. Especially the goopy, floopy ones. So, they look kind of like gods. The baby frog larvae or something. I'll maybe remember the word later on, but for now it is a mystery to me. You could even do this as a little homage to the already existing art for eye ingredients on the Potioncraft references. You might have already spotted it while looking at the references I have provided. So having these really malformed due to misshapen healing could also be very interesting. Like, people always imagine healing as some grand miracle that restores your body to its original condition. But in some cases, especially for Hydras, it could be that is actually a very painful natural process that just returns the body to a fighting shape. How it does is irrelevant as long as the creature is alive to reproduce in the future. So there we go. And as long as this isn't too harmful, it could just work out. So there we go. I'll keep this like that for now, and maybe we can get the coloring done to make it a little bit better. But for now, I'm not that thrilled with this one. So let's go on to the next ones. The conga line of different eyeballs. Maybe one can make a triangle eye. This could be really nice. Try and keep the triangle shape a little bit more recognizable. Yes, this is magnificent. There we go. So, we are with this. And this is already our third ingredient for today. We'll be cruising through these. Isn't that grand? Because actually I'm very looking forward to getting this done. As I don't find the designs I come up with that interesting or engaging at all, which is sad in a minor kind of way. But I'm very excited on other projects I'm already planning, and maybe I'll come back to you with something more engaging than this. Who knows? After all, I want you all to be entertained, no matter how good or bad I am at this. And entertainment is one of the most important things we have in today's culture. With these so little to fear and to do, our brains can crave the entertainment one so readily deserves, or thinks to deserve. There we are. So, let's get on to drawing these creatures. So, all these bits and bobs here. Maybe I'll even need to... Yeah, I'll have to cut these. Yes. That'll be a step we have to do before all of this. Just a second. Yes, I will just cut these Hydra Eyes. Put them together. Magnificent. Put the reference away. And start cutting. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Now then. Oh dear gods, I've come onto the wrong button. Dear gods, I don't like this one. I don't like cropping my images. There we go. Isn't that way better? Whew. It was a long day yesterday, you know? So, now then. Yes. Let's start making our coloring folders. I really should just copy the folders into each single one so I wouldn't have to go through this every single time. Yet I did not make this decision beforehand and just came upon this realization today. But Who cares? Nope. And you're already familiar with the process, I assume, so I'll just do it for now. If any questions arise, you can certainly ask me later on, maybe even in the comments, who knows? I'd be pretty happy to welcome you there as well. So, there we go. Now then. Oh, dear God. Oh. Let's get on with it. So, maybe I'll just keep streaming for this project and return to this activity once I've gathered enough experience and maybe have a little bit better of a program in store for you to enjoy, so that we all can be happy with the results we get. So let's see. Yes, we'll start like that with this one. Nope, not enough saturation. Complete global saturation crash. So then we need something a little bit darker. Neat. Have something a little bit orangey maybe. Get these done. More saturation. Without the filters, this would look horrendously ugly, I can reassure you. So, maybe we can push the center of the eye just a little bit more. Yes. Doesn't this look fabulous? Neat. Now then, we'll carry on to the middle one. So. And here we'll go for the very bright, maybe a little bit less, outer edges. I can use a little bit more red here. Yes, this should do okay for now. A little more saturation. Nope, too much saturation. There we go, this should work. And now we can just go back here, get ourselves a real nice red color, make the red goopy-tisms. Maybe with a little bit of dark red at the bottom. Or maybe at the top. Yes, this should be very nice. And continue on with our little green adventures here. So now we take this. Yes, and maybe here a little bit, maybe a little darker. That could do nicely. Yes, this should work for now at least. So, dear gods, now come on, do something. There we go. At least it does something. We'll just put this as a little blend shape over the others. See what we can do to push this a little bit more. Yeah, this looks okay. Then we'll just go into the next one. Dear gods, I can churn these 3 out in basically an hour. Isn't that magnificent? So there we go. Getting a nice base color for the eyes. There we go. So go brighter, a little bit greener. There we go. add in a little bit of a highlight maybe, or at least maybe we can use the yellow to really get this. Trying to follow the shape of the eye to get a nice little thing going on here. And then a bluish green highlight. This could be very, very nice. Although we still have that in the middle. And you can make a ring of it out here. And then use some nice blend modes. Not blend shapes. Blend shapes are a 3D term, not a 2D one. Get it working here. So let's see. Yeah, this should work good enough. Or well enough. I'm very sorry for mispronouncing that. You can just put this back here. And everything should be dandy. Now we have Hydra Eyes. Isn't that magnificent? So, good gentlemen. Maybe we can even try to do a little bit extra on this one. Having a little bit of goopy flisms coming down from there. So. Yes, this is a nice addition to the lineup, I would say. Maybe a bit much for Potioncraft, but still something. So, there we go. Oh, and maybe here. Having it only on a few could prove somewhat weird. I'm actually rather glad I got these done that quickly today, as I would like to watch it a little bit more EFAP, you know? It's a very nice little podcast that I very much enjoy watching. And they recently brought out a little bit of Karen and EFAP movies on it even. So, let's see. There we go. If that isn't grand, I don't know what is. Although, quite honestly, all these Potioncraft things I'm drawing, they're not my usual style, you might say. I usually prefer my other drawings, you know? Like, just a second, this one. And maybe we'll do that sometime in the future. But for now, we'll do Potioncraft. It also helps me to get the earlier problems in streaming done, while not actually... while not making the presentation of one of my better drawings that much worse. So let's see. Yes, we still have to do the wonderful little things up here. Ah, yes, here it was. The nice little numbers. And after that, I'll give you a quick look-see at what else I've been up to lately. So. Now then, oh dear God, this is a little bit of a tight space when it comes to having it available for drawing. Oh, dude, no, I don't. I'd like to do anything besides the text. There we go. I'm making a little more space here now. Can we even push this a little bit to the side? A bit smaller, and there we go. Now that is plenty of space. So. There we go. I heard that. Isn't that grand? Let's take a look at this without the filters. Prepare yourselves for eye cancer of the highest degree. You might want to get it excised right after we start. Or right after we stop doing this. The quicker the better, you would say. Oh dear God! These could actually also be poisonous ingredients now that I think about it. But I have other things planned for that. Very well then. Now then, just give me a quick second. I'll have this done in no time. So, there we go. I'll just deactivate my little transmission carpet for now. And I'll get my little thing up here. Window, maximize. And there we have that. Let's get this back there. I'll have to deactivate CSP, the image, and there we have it. So, what I'm planning to do for the holograms and projectors mod, these are basically the previous projections I did. Basically the totality, the grand projections, the large projections, and the small projections. And here we have the current selection I've created. As you might see, small and grand at the moment. I'll come to the grand ones in just a few seconds, or at least in a few days, basically. I've been able to churn about 3 of these out every day, between this and the last stream, and I'm rather happy with how they turned out. Just look at them, they're majestic. I even did a few eyes down here. And I still have quite a lot to do, you might say. I even made a few tests to see how they might look in game. Of course, with the optimal background here, which is a black background. If you have a white background, it all becomes oversaturated and overexposed and you can't see anything. But all in all, I'm rather happy with it. These are some I made for the old chap who wanted to make a Shadowrun mod for RimWorld. And he asked me to do a few of these, and I'm very happy with how they turned out. For the corporations, you know. But I think this should be all. I will also redo all the ground projections, as they're out of scale in this one. They're far larger in terms of size than I previously expected. I expected it to be rather linear in terms of size increase. If we take a few here, take this, no, take this one, and I don't know, that one, copy them, paste them, and have them rolled up right next to each other. They look rather similar, you know, they look like a linear increase, yet when I get, just a second, myself a little, oh dear God, oh, you can actually see this now, isn't that grand? I'll just put that up. There we go. And here we are again. Then you might see a little bit of a discrepancy when it comes to these. When we put them, oh, wait, just a second, we can resize this to fit, oh dear God, what am I doing? So, can resize this one, basically become as large as this one, still larger. Now they are basically on the same page, maybe a little bit more. Yes, this is about the small size category in size. And this here is basically perfect in terms of size comparison. Yet the ground one, it's a little bit short, you might say. Especially considering this is not filling out the whole of the space. I might ask Vesper to make these a little bit bigger to compensate for this. Yes, this might be a good idea. To basically have them this size. So like 10% bigger, maybe 20%. And having this, oh dear God, let's put it back. Having the ground ones way, way bigger. So yes, this is the correct size. Oh dear God. Well, that shall be everything for today. I'll deactivate the transmission carpet once again. So then, I thank you very much for your patronage today. Thank you for checking out my stream. And, of course, I hope you were somewhat entertained. I wish you all the most magnificent of days, good gentlemen. It truly was a pleasure.